Battery's cut off. Anyway, as I was saying, prior to you choosing to do this to me, whoever you are, nobody had ever done that. Nobody had ever done that, pretended to like me, to have back and forth with me for months. No one had ever done that. Like I said, I've had, of course, especially back in the Chad Kruger delusion days, I had people telling me to kill myself. I had people hating my fucking guts and just saying the most derogatory things imaginable to me. Did anyone ever befriend me, so to speak, in order to later pull the rug out and hurt me? Never. 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 That's why someone like you is more innately cruel, I think, than someone like False Alarmist, who's upfront the entire time about his disgust for me. But you're the first person ever to do that. To pretend to like me, to pretend to be my friend. It's a very cruel thing to do. It makes you more innately cruel than my enemies who are completely upfront. Because you did it with the Stony Colin Phil, and then not long later, you did it again with Grateful Fandango. Only then you did it worse. Much worse. Much, much worse. Why do you ask? Because you intentionally said things, and now you've known me for a long time. You act like you're brand new, and you bonded with me. You said things specifically designed to get me to trust you. You behaved in a vulnerable manner. And I'm a sucker for that in men, because, well, for obvious reasons. Obviously, if I'm afraid of men in general, and I was in an abusive relationship for a long time, and I had an abusive father, you know what I mean? Obviously, if you display what's seemingly genuine vulnerability, and calling me a lost puppy in the wilderness, and then, but so am I, with those words, so am I, attributing that to yourself, then that's displaying vulnerability. And any guy who displays vulnerability, of course I'm going to be a sucker for that, because it makes me think that you're a nice person, and that I have no reason to not trust you. Remember, say what you will about Foot Guy, but he did not display any degree of vulnerability or sweet talk me or do anything that, he pissed me off from the beginning. Oh, sure, he'd text me things like, I want to suck on your feet or whatnot, and love your feet or this, that, or whatever. But in person, he wasn't sweet talking me at all, let's put it that way, okay? So, I don't know, all this person has done, all you've done, is caused me to be more scared than ever of men. That's all you've done. Because now I've experienced online what I learned from the woman who was my caseworker in the emergency domestic violence shelter back in LA, that abusive men actually know, abusers know how to spot the women who have been abused, and and acting vulnerable and doing stuff like that to put someone at ease is like, I'm just a goner. I'm a sucker for that, because I know when I'm doing it, I'm not trying to trick anybody. I'm telling the truth. So it doesn't actually cross my mind that there could be men just doing it to trick me or doing it to get me into bed or etc., etc., etc. That's the hardest thing for me about relationships or about this existence or whatnot, is I can't, there's no way to know if someone's being sincere. And then if somebody is being sincere and you doubt them, it makes you feel like you're being a jerk. So how do you ever win? You know what I mean? I mean, on a stupid basis, because of course it's all stupid and I realize that now. But back with Stony, Colin, and Phil, I cannot believe they're all the same person. Oh my God, I can't believe it. Anyway, you guys don't know this, and you're not going to know it because you didn't memorize all these comments, but I remember a lot of it, and I have it all. Okay, I don't have the back and forth, but so what? Even though I don't have the back and forth, I can have their comments and kind of go into my memory and try to remember what I said in response, or you can get the gist of it just with their comments. So let me tell you, fuck you, asshole. You're more innately cruel than someone like False Alarmist. And believe it or not, I had even worse. I had a person that I would never post a single comment who came after False Alarmist. It was saying the most, even worse to me than False Alarmist. Thankfully, that person went away. False Alarmist is probably the same one that kept pretending to be Chad and Avril and everything else. But even if he wasn't, this wasn't him. This was someone who actually had their name and avatar that looked like a real person or whatnot. But let's set that aside. It's very scary for someone like me to think about men in particular, pretty much that's who would do it, being so kind towards me, so nice, behaving in such a vulnerable manner, revealing things about himself, etc., etc., and it's all fake. Because that's basically what this unknown to me person has done repeatedly. But anyway, back to Colin, Tony, and Phil, who this person is now insisting, and I'm starting to believe it, he was all of them, the whole time, all those months. He played different characters. And when I would question Colin, who would insist, you think we don't love you, you think we're not your, and he even in the very end went to me, I can't remember if it was in a personal message. Was it in a probably not, I don't know, but anyway, probably not in a personal message, but still, Stoney's all, I have it, the words, I almost have them verbatim. Stoney is all upset that you're mad at him. Please forgive Stoney. Unreal. Unreal. This obviously extremely clever human being, wherever he is on this planet, pretended to be all these characters. And now, later, and then pretended to be Grateful Fandango. Pretend to be somebody brand new. And was I suspicious at first? Yeah. Like he wrote to me earlier today. Oh, by the way, now that I know people can just disappear, I'm in the process of getting all my comments. I now have gotten all the back and forth conversations over the last couple of days between me and whoever this person is. But he claiming that he was all of them. He would write to me stuff. I mean, in the end, but even before that, like, even if I had doubt, why do you doubt us? Why do you doubt us? We're your biggest fans, whatever. But the worst was Colin coming to me, like in a private thing. Stoney's all upset that you're mad at him. Please forgive Stoney. He doesn't want you mad at him. I don't know. Maybe this human being has, like, multiple personality disorder if he can be all these characters. And Stoney doesn't want you mad at him. Please forgive Stoney. And then when I was all gonna forgive Stoney and Colin, forgive them all, and my friend, I was talking to her at the grocery store for hours, and remember, and she's like, why are you having anything to do with these men, Laura? They after what they did last time. I go, 'cause Stoney's sorry. Stoney wants me to forgive him. Colin came to me and asked me to please forgive Stoney. And then I got upset with her. I was like, don't put them down. They're my friends. They didn't mean it. They're sorry. And then, as some of you know, this shit really hit the fan. Because I'm letting bygones be bygones, and then Stoney turns on me when I thought Colin had told me that Stoney was sorry and didn't want me upset with him. Stoney turns on me big time. You guys know I created that video where I was like in shock and crying, and then Bunch Marketing taught me the truth, and now I'll learn my lesson. So that means that no one can do that to me again. I trusted Justin as his sincerity and genuine nature, and it was all a lie, but it's not going to devastate me like what happened back when I was that naive. I cannot believe it was the same person. It's not just that they were totally different. I mean, they fought back and forth. I remember on my channel, Colin and Stoney fighting with each other, like, because when that thing happened there was a shooting, and Colin was accusing Stoney of being the shooter, and they were arguing back and forth in comments. I cannot believe it was the same person. To me, they were so real. And later, Phil had an older avatar. Phil definitely talked in an older manner. He definitely talked differently than either Stoney or Colin. He talked in an older manner. He even said things like, see, I don't know what to believe. This guy right now can claim to be all these people, and it doesn't mean he's telling the truth now. There's no proof. But I'm going to just tell you, to me, these people were real. And Phil was the nicest of the bunch. He wrote stuff to me. There's a comment, me and Stoney actually, he said something like, you are attractive and you are talented. He's like, me and Stoney talked, and one of your videos where you talk about maybe YouTube isn't the best way to whatever he wrote. I have it in my Hotmail, but he said, and we thought that video should go viral. Phil talked about reading on the road when he was young. He talked about how he has sex whenever he can. But he's not as fussy as I am. He definitely was completely different from Stoney, who was, had a steady, cool girlfriend. I mean, lived with him. I go back and read all the comments, and I know it wouldn't change my mind. The shock that this person now is insisting he was all of these people. He was all of them, he says. That's so crazy. To me, that's like acting. Maybe he's an aspiring actor or something out of this guy. That's definitely acting, though. That takes a degree of cleverness to pretend to be all those people, if he in fact did. Or he's lying now, see? To make my head spin. What would really be mind-blowing to me is if I found, again, there would be no proof, but if someone like False Alarmist, who's so cruel and derogatory towards me, was also somebody like Justin, who was so kind and complimentary and whatever, if I found out that they were the same people. But that's something, that's kind of weird. That's like weird, like really weird. It's blowing my mind a little bit. Remember, I can go and review if I so choose, but I have other things to do that I'd rather do that are either more important to me or more enjoyable for me than to go back and... But I have them all separated. Remember, I put them all in folders. There's the Stoney Jenkins folder, the Colin folder, whatever his last name was, the Philip Lassiter folder, back then I stopped putting the people in folders after that whole fiasco, but the Richard Picks folder, the asshole folder, of course. They're all in separate folders. So I could easily go and reread all the comments. And I think I would be even more shocked than ever. I can't wrap my mind around that this person is saying that he was not only all them, the three amigos, but also my latest buddy, Justin, Unreal. But speaking of false alarmists and my enemies, speaking of people out who are directly cruel towards me and don't try to trick me and hide it, again, someone like that's worse. Someone like that represents one of my biggest fears as a long-time abuse victim, including when I was young. That represents one of my biggest fears, because when someone's an outright jerk to you in the real world, then they're a jerk, you stay away. But if someone pretends, I was really liking Justin until I found out we smoked cigarettes, but still, I was liking Justin without knowing what he looked like, because I wasn't liking Justin and his, oh my God, we're going to get together and, no. But I was liking him as a online type friend or whatnot, just very, very, very casual. But regardless, that's very scary to me. I mean, think about it. Up front if a guy's being an asshole or being this, being that. So how do I ever trust any guy again? I met in person, however I did it, okay, if I met in person somebody who behaved with me the way that, quote, Justin, unquote, did in the very beginning, okay? And remember, it wasn't just it wasn't like my puppy dog followers. This was a thing where there was back and forth, and there was indications of this or that, and he was saying stuff like he didn't consider himself an artist, and I'm like, you're definitely an artist. I don't care if you don't make a living at it. You're still innately an artist. He says, oh, thank you, Laura. I really appreciate that. All this crap, okay? But let's say I met a guy like that in real life, who I happen to find physically appealing, and he indicated that he found me physically appealing, and he confesses this, that, or whatever to me, and all along it's a lie. Because this person who fucked with me via the Three Amigos, supposedly, and now later as Justin. My name is Justin. You can give me a shout out if you want. I mean, what is he thinking the entire time? He's getting off on it. He's giggling like crazy that he's getting away with this, that he's succeeding in tricking me. And how does he know that he's doing that? Because he can see me revealing more and letting down my guard and this, that, or whatever. Just because I knew in the back of my mind that was only because of the Stony Calm Phil thing. If Justin had come along and been the first, it would have been probably more. Imagine if he was the first. It would have been way more devastating to me than this Stony Calm Phil thing wound up being. You get it? So Justin comes later, and Justin is way more. First of all, I don't get the indication at all that he has a girlfriend. He's vulnerable. He's a songwriter. All this stuff. And meanwhile, the entire time, he knows, if this is true, of course, and there's no way to prove it, there's no way to prove it, period. But if it was true, he knows that he recently was Stony calling Phil, and just like he was fucking with, I can't wrap my mind around this. I really can't. I just can't. Can't. You have to understand, people, I was prepared all along, from the moment, okay? And it happened gradually, just like it was happening gradually with Sony and Colin. I was prepared all along that Justin might turn on me, okay? What I was not prepared for is for some person